Is the Bitcoin bull run about to continue from here, and have we seen the worst of the pullback and correction? Yesterday, I posted a very detailed outlook video here for members only in the Leading Crypto Discord server. And this gives a high level outlook of my views on the market, why I'm picking up and have been picking up for the last 2 weeks certain altcoins at key levels, and what am I looking to basically confirm that we're looking for more upside right now, potentially a breakout on Bitcoin towards new all-time highs and beyond. If you tuned into any of my content over the last year, been in the trading group, anything of that nature, you would have been very familiar with this pattern right here, which was a bearish pattern on Ethereum that took it up to $4,000 and had a target point back to this B level, right? Which at the time was about a 50% drop, right? And we had a couple of other key levels to kind of be aware of, all kind of stacked around this region. But the B point was our main target, which is right at about $2,100. And for the better part of this entire year, I had been, very aware of this pattern. Obviously, I didn't know that it was going to happen. There was no guarantee by any means, but this kept me very cautious up at the highs, right? Now, when anticipating a potential 50% pullback in Ethereum, when I looked at Bitcoin over the past several months, I was obviously trying to identify some key areas where we might see a potential reversal as well, and maybe line that up with some key levels that Bitcoin could have fallen down to. Anticipating an ETH drop to 50% pullback, I imagine that Bitcoin would come down with it. This led me to identifying the bearish reversal up here, right, about $72,000, which had targets back down to 54K, right, where we actually shorted the $71,400 level all the way down to 54,000 on 4th of July. From there, we effectively rotated this range back up to the high once more, and at this time, once again, I was actually anticipating a move lower based on Ethereum. I was looking for a potential bat pattern on BTC to take us down back to a quarterly naked point of control, which is basically an inefficiency high volume target down here at about $43,000. And one of the biggest reasons, once again, correlating, between Ethereum, Bitcoin, potential pullback in the stock market, all things kind of considered. And I was timing this out to look for a low essentially, or for this pattern to complete even between August 6th through August 8th. And that was when we were trading all the way back up here at $69,000. Once again, everything's posted within the Leading Crypto Discord. Now, on that one day prior to that time frame where I was looking for the Bitcoin drop and Ethereum as well was on August 5th. Okay. Now, ETH ended up actually coming down and fulfilling this pattern, hitting this major target. Could it go lower? There's always a lower option, of course, but we have to identify key areas and times where, you want to be able to put on some risk into the market because this could turn around, right? So once again, ETH had came down, fulfilled its pattern here, fulfilled the target. At the same time, Bitcoin put in a substantial little low here, right? So what did we actually come down to? Yes, we had a little 52K support over here, but overall, the thing that really catches my attention at this point is one of two things. In a very strong uptrend, generally you will not get a deep retracement as far as a Fibonacci retracement would go, right? Most of the times we're targeting, the gold pocket, the 618 to the 65, or even the 786, things of that nature, right? For some decent, clear areas to look for a retracement, for new entries, things of that nature. But when you have a strong uptrend, generally you only get a pullback to the 382 fib, right? So why do I bring that up? Well, because one of two, things kind of point out here is that if we were to pull a Fibonacci retracement right here, this was a 382 retracement and we had continuation. Right here was a 382 pullback and then we had continuation. And generally speaking, when you get a pretty decent reaction off the 382, that is the area you will look to get your continuation. And pulling a macro Fibonacci retracement right here from the 15K low to your $72,000 high and kicking on the 382, you can see that we actually came down and tested the 382 on this pullback right here, right? So sizable reaction at this point. What is the next key thing that I would look to kind of get more into the idea in the camp that we're going to see potential, continuation to the upside, where at least probably rotate this range, and then if not, look to make new all-time highs and continue on from here? Well, it's really as simple as doing exactly what we've done each and every time we've dropped out of this range, right? So this is the overall range that we've been in ever since February. You could pull this very simply with a fixed range volume profile across this. I've just thrown a couple parallel channels on here to make it clear for you, but very much similar to what we did right here, where we dumped out of the range, right? Last on July 5th or 4th, we had spent quite a bit of time underneath this region, underneath some key levels, getting everybody, very bearish, potentially exiting their positions, opening shorts, what have you. And we potentially have done the same thing here, right? So even myself, like I said, I had targets a little bit lower. I had a time frame of the 6th to the 8th on August, 43K Bitcoin and $2,000 Ethereum, right? 2,100. Ethereum ended up hitting. Bitcoin came down to 48, missed it by 5K one day earlier, right? However, I noted these regions from the all-time highs, right? So it's like I've been positioned pretty well, even if I didn't, capitalize on this exact move here. Now I'm not going to be aimlessly looking for 43K. Is that still on the table? Of course, it's something that we have to be aware of. But what are, there's more signals at this point pointing to potential move to the upside here, right? So we've gotten, like I said, we got a pullback to our macro 382, the area that we're going to see, potential continuation from. What's the next key is to get back in this range, right? So now we've done that. We've closed 2 daily candles back up within this region. At the end of this week, we'll be looking for a weekly candle close back in this area. But while we're in this range now, we can look to at least push up to 63K. 67,000 is the overall point of control. There's also a monthly naked point of control right there as well. So that would be a nice little key level there. But ultimately, I imagine we could probably rotate this range back to the highs as long as we stay within. And realistically, I would imagine that we actually break out of this and continue to new all-time highs from this point. Now, without going back and pointing out the previous cycle did this and the previous cycle did that, whatever, I'm not necessarily looking at that in the same regard as many others. But one thing I do want to point out is on top of us coming down and bouncing off of a major Fibonacci retracement level, the 382, on top of us re-entering the overall range from the low right now, on top of everybody probably waiting for lower, we are coming into a pivotal time point as well, right? So this is actually based on, just as we can look at key levels in the chart in price due to Fibonacci retracements from the up and down, we can also look for Fibonacci time periods, and these are pivotal moments in time based on previous moves to see when the next pivot is going to arrive, right? So throughout time here, from overall high to lows here, we have new pivotal areas here that have taken place. And I just wanted to point out that in 2016, we came to the gold pocket in time from the previous high to low. And that was essentially where we, still had a little bit of range bound activity, but we basically broke out and continued on to, the overall all-time high. In 2020, we had the same thing as well at the gold pocket in time, which came in at about October of 2020. Was where we ended up breaking out to the all-time high overall. And right now, from our previous, market high to market low, the gold pocket in time is coming up right now. It actually started on August 19th, and it goes through till the 23rd of September. Once again, very high level. Does that mean we can see a drop down still? Absolutely. But I do want to point out that this is the time where, at least, previously we've seen, and not to look at cycles, just moves, right? This is just an impulse move retracement, and this is the time frame that it took. Same thing here, same thing here. Many will call it the 4-year cycle, whatever. Either way, we are there now, okay? So just want to be pointing that out as well, that this is a key region where I'll be looking for at least to potentially see a breakout, right? So we could very well still trend a little sideways, maybe in the overall range, go back up to 70K. Regardless, I'm looking at the data as just the data, right? No news needed. Just want to point out that that's where we're at. We are at a key level where we've seen in the last 2 iterations have been breakout points, right, in time that generally lead to the last, run up. If you would like to see a little bit more detail on what I'm looking for and how I arrived at these scenarios here, please check out this video right here. But this is a time where I've been looking for, key signs of that reversal to come in. I do believe that many of them are here at the moment. I believe that this is a time where you want to be looking at the altcoins for potential mid to long-term plays. I actually posted a ton of updates in my area over the last couple days with member requests, things of that nature, of all these altcoins, key regions that I've been looking for, which ones I'm picking up specifically. And if you haven't heard him say it quite yet, a very wise man has been going around to the people. And I tend to agree that
now is the time to buy altcoins.